record us.
All right. No, it's recording. How awesome is that?
On. Oh my god.
So yes, welcome back to my show. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done these. I've been out on the road. I spent 3 weeks with my friends Paul and Sarah in Little Rock and had an amazing and for a later show, life-changing time. It was a lot of fun. Paul and I did a show. I ate like an asshole. Lots of cheese.
Yep, the muffin tins.
The muffin
So
tins of
awesome.
cheese dip. Ate the biggest burrito I've ever had in my entire life. It's the size of a small baby. But yeah, no, this is an episode I've been really looking forward to. I asked my kiddos to do this a while ago, and some of you guys have said, hey, you should have your kids on, and so I am. These are my my kiddos, and for the first time, and for a later show, life-changing time. Oh shit, I gotta turn. It was a lot of fun. Paul and I did a show. I ate like an asshole.
Oh, yeah, I can hear.
I got to turn that down, right? Because I'm for the first time I figured out how to take phone calls. So if you have my number, I'm going to work on getting a number that isn't my cell phone number to take the phone calls. And I know there's a way. I'll figure it out. But so kiddos, you're in the hot spot.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first?
So yeah. So what I want you to do, everybody out there's heard me talk about my kiddos, and I'm going to let them kind of introduce themselves and fire away.
Well, I'm Leah. I went to UNC. Oh, well, I'm 24. I went to UNC, graduated with a major in communication and a minor in recreation tourism and hospitality. I recently moved to Florida and had a great time there until I was washed out. So now I'm a refugee down here, and it's been
What
an
was the
awesome
hurricane?
couple-
Ida? No.
Ian.
Ian.
Yeah,
Ian.
Hurricane Ian.
Fucking Ian.
I know. So yeah,
I also have given my
refugee
kiddos
here.
full permission to cuss. So I hope we hear some bombs out of the kiddos.
Yeah, you will, especially when we're talking about some other stuff.
Oh shit, here we go. And also let me start by saying they both have lists of stuff that I have not seen that they want to talk about and questions that they want to ask. So yeah. All right, kiddo, sorry. So Hurricane Ian forced you.
Yeah, but I've been having a great time here. I got back a couple months ago, and so I've just been hanging out with family and friends, and I've been looking forward to doing this for a while.
And a boyfriend.
And a boyfriend. Yep, I
Yep.
have a boyfriend here.
Yep.
He was just over checking out the setup.
I have a thing with
Ryan.
Leah, and I've given all of Leah's
my
boyfriends
list.
since. Okay, well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah,
Then.
I mean,
But
yeah.
I came up with a nickname for Ryan yesterday, which did you tell him?
No, yeah,
Oh, okay,
I completely
okay.
forgot.
We'll bring it up. Maybe he's listening, so we'll
I
bring it
hope
up.
he's
We'll bring it up
listening, 'cause
later.
then you can find out his
Yeah,
nickname.
yeah.
Yeah. There's been some good ones.
So Zeke just posted, I've been lucky enough to meet all of these thugs. So Zeke's out there.
Yeah.
So all right, kiddo. So you're what's the plan? Hurricane kind of messed you up, and you're here for a little bit, and
Yep, and then I'm gonna go back in like a month and help my dad set up his restaurant again that we also lost, and work there for a little while, hang out with them, and then the big plan that my boyfriend and I have been talking about is moving to Nashville. So
That'd be
we're
awesome.
still figuring it out, but that would be really awesome.
you know,
and I'm
Nashville
pretty
chicken.
excited about that plan.
Nice.
So we'll see.
All right, Renzo, me and Lorenzo rolling in a benzo.
Surprisingly, you've been like the third person. Well, like first, but surprisingly happened 3 times.
Somebody said me and
Yeah.
Renzo. Wow, a lot of people listening to some old NWA. I didn't know that was still so popular.
Yeah.
We listened to that shit like 30 times. As soon as I realized it, I went back and back and back, and every time it was awesome. All right, kiddo, fire away.
Yeah. My name is Ren. I am 16. I go to high school here in Greeley. Working on being a special education teacher in my future. And yeah, just looking forward to being here.
I call bullshit on that one. I thought this was
Just looking forward to such a good.
yeah. Thanks for having me. All right. So one of the things I told you that I was going to ask you is, I met Leah when she was 4,
Yeah.
and I met Ren the day she was born. the day the kid was born is when I met Ren.
Same.
So I've known Leah the majority of your life.
Yeah,
I think the first time we met, we went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Like ever since I can remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese. That was awesome. I still
Yeah.
have the picture that we
The
took
picture
in
with,
the booth.
with the cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I learned something the other day. I saw online that, do you know what the E stands for?
In Chuck E. Cheese.
Because it's not Chucky. It's
Yeah,
Chuck
E.
E. Cheese.
No,
It's
middle name.
Chuck Entertainment Cheese.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't.
yeah, that's a
This
great middle
makes
name.
it kind of
Yeah.
stupid. I think. I mean, I
Yeah,
kind of liked
think
Chucky
E.
better.
Cheese better.
But so yeah, so one of the questions, and we're gonna get there will be lots of levity and some jokes, but one of the things that I really wanted you guys to look back at is what are when I'm lucky enough to have known you guys most of your lives, and so when I look back at our lives together, I have the highlights. I know what I would claim to be the highlights, and I've thought about this recently with a good friend of mine's mother passing away, is him looking back and kind of reminiscing on what the highlights of his life with his mom are. What are some of the things that in the future, 20, 30 years from now, you guys are going to be sitting with your kids or your grandkids? What are you going to say are the highlights of your childhood with a weirdo dad and the crazy life we've had?
Takes that we've done.
I mean, and not to toot my own horn and as a parent, but we've had some pretty amazing adventures.
Awesome things.
We've packed a lot of shit into 16 and 20 years. We've packed a lot of shit into that time. It hasn't all been great. There's been some rough times, but what are some of the highlights, good or bad, that you're going to look back and say, tell your kids or grandkids that were the highlights?
I was thinking about this. I like my birthdays. Almost every single one of my birthdays has been so amazing. And I mean, with the magic shows and stuff like that, I loved looking back on like being backstage with you during your magic shows or being part of the secrets, the audience, and like knowing the secrets and doing stuff. The traveling has been so awesome. We've been so fortunate to be able to have a family that will take us on trips with them. And
What was your
not
favorite,
just
both of
leave
you?
us.
What was your favorite trip we've been on?
I really love the cruise that we did.
We did it. How
love
old
that
were
a
you
lot.
when we were 16,
It
15?
was like 16.
We did a 2-week Mediterranean
right.
cruise, and I have a story about Ren that I want to tell on this trip about that cruise. We went to a magic show, and the guy was terrible. I mean, I thought he was garbage. I thought he was absolutely garbage.
It's like your classic, like standard pull.
Yeah, but he'd
grab it
do
out of
he'd
the
do a
hat
card
and-
trick, and then he'd set the deck on the table, and then he'd do something else, and then he'd pull another deck of cards out of his box. And I think Kid pointed that out. Well, that's obviously a trick deck because he's got 7 at the end of the show. He had 7 decks on the table.
that
So,
all have different things.
I don't know if you remember this, Kid. We were walking that afternoon, and we were going to the arcade, which is where Kiddo spent most of the time on the you know. And you won the Deal or No Deal, didn't you? And you won like 700 tickets on the Deal or No Deal. The kid hit the right suitcase. Well, we walked by, and the kid says, "I mean, how long ago was that? Do you remember? You were 14 or 15,
Yeah, I
so
think
you'd have been 7 or 8. Yeah, yeah. And
you were small.
Ren says, "Hey, look, there's the magician." Well, he hears. Do you remember the story?
Yeah.
He hears her.
Yeah.
He hears the kid say that, and gets off his chair and comes over and says, "Oh, did you see the show?" And kid says, "Yeah." And he says, "What'd you think?" And Ren says, "It was okay."
Yeah, like-
And he said, "Oh, just okay. Well, come on, tell me, who's your favorite magician?" And the kid says, "Doc Eason."
yeah. He's like, oh.
And he looks
yeah,
at the kid and he says, "You know Doc Eason?" And the kid says, "Yeah, he stays at my house."
Yeah, I know him. I know
Yeah,
him pretty well.
I know him. I know
Had
Doc Eason.
breakfast with him.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. So Kid and I were talking about this recently, that you know, the friends that I have. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be friends with some of the greatest magicians in the world, and they've all several of them have been through this house.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
have just done like magic shows, just
In
I
the
mean, not,
basement
like,
or at the
magic
kitchen
shows,
table.
but
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, showing us
And
stuff.
so, Kid, you talked about that a little bit on the and you had your books. What are they called? Your journals, the
Oh,
place
the commonplace books.
commonplace books.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit. You had mentioned something about the magic, about growing up in a world of magic.
Yeah, that's on my little list.
Well, get to it.
Yeah.
This is the real time. This
Yeah.
is yeah.
Well, I think both Leah and I have been fortunate enough to be kind of raised and brought up by magic, not only by my dad, but also by friends and connections. This is sort of related to magic, but also related to the people you know. We were in New Mexico, and we were talking about the cheesiness of the alien like merchandise that we found in all the gift shops. And you call Giorgio from Ancient Aliens, and he answers the phone with, "My man." And I think that was kind of the flip in my brain that I was like, my dad knows awesome people, and he is pretty awesome.
Well, I do think that was the day that my kid thought maybe I'm not such a nerd. You know, that we're in New Mexico and I'm talking to the ancient aliens guy.
It's like,
But yeah, the story, and you guys maybe heard this, and I talk about it in my show, that Ernest Hemingway has a quote that a man dies two deaths. The first death is his natural death. The second death is the last time somebody says his name.
and it'll be a while.
And so that's the thing, that you try to create a life that where people tell the stories. You know, the whole thing about leaving the my type job was you guys will never brag that your old man was really good at Excel spreadsheets. You know, or man, I saw his desk one time and he had 3 monitors.
3 computers.
You know, sometimes I'd wake up in the morning and my dad would be at work, and then I'd have dinner and go to bed and he'd still be there. Those aren't exciting things. But the fact that kid and I decided one afternoon to drive to Roswell, New Mexico and have burritos on the way down. We came up with a burrito ranking system. Oh God, we got in our car at like 8:00 at night. It was 127 degrees in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, we got out of
No,
the
thank
hotel
you.
room, and it was like, yeah.
It was
Get hit with
fucking
a
miserable.
wall.
It's a good place. It's a good thing that shitty little place has aliens, because
Other than that, but a
Yeah.
burrito ranking system.
oh yeah,
right?
kid.
Oh yeah. I remember one of the things on our little our ranking thing was the Mexican place had to be in a old Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
Or
old
an
Pizza Hut or old Denny's, or
Denny's.
yeah, that makes it better, and that makes it, because I mean, really, the best Mexican food places are in old Pizza Huts. I mean, and then there was they have to make their own tortillas, and
yeah,
the
that's
other
a
one
good
that people don't think about is the place really has to smell like Purple Fabuloso. You know, I mean, if it doesn't smell like Purple Fabuloso, it's
Then they're not doing it
garbage.
right.
It's
Uh-huh.
garbage. So as I do, I got sidetracked. So back to the question: what are some of the highlights of the travel? Kiddo, what's your favorite trip we've been on?
I don't know. I did really like our Grand Canyon trip.
Yeah.
That was really
Oh my
fun.
gosh, yeah.
Well, you liked it because you made friends people with the shower.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't mind
I knew
getting
where my
into
priorities
things
That's
around.
right. That's right.
No, but that was
that
super
was cool.
fun. And then the post Las Vegas trip was pretty cool.
Yep.
Cirque du Soleil. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, coming into the Bellagio from a week. in
From
the
a week
Grand
sleeping on the
Canyon.
side of the river. Yeah, and so we bought tickets to see, I don't know, what was the water Cirque du Soleil? Is it
I don't
O
know.
or
Oh,
whatever the water
or-
whatever the
yeah,
water
the
one
water
is?
Cirque
Yeah.
du Soleil. I don't know
And
the name of it.
20 minutes into it, I look down and you two and your mom are asleep. I get it. It was a long
It
long
was a
week. It was
long
no,
trip.
it was a long
It
week.
wasn't a vacation. It was a trip. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah. The water was cold.
Oh shit, it was like the water was like 70 degrees, 65 degrees out in the water. Outside the water was like 105.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that was fun.
Solution to pollution is dilution.
Yeah. Oh, what is that? Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
The solution to pollution is dilution. And they tell you that to pee in
Pee
the river. Because if you pee outside the river, it will grow and stink. And in the river, it gets diluted.
Fine.
So
Yeah, that was cool. Oh, lots of trips. We didn't have to go very far from home, like going to the Stanley Hotel. That was super awesome. All the times we did that. I really liked ghost tours and going to the Colorado Hotel.
yeah, the Colorado Hotel, we did that midnight ghost tour with those 2 people that were hardcore ghost hunters.
Yeah.
They had the whole setup, the camera,
It was
and
cool. It got you into it, even if you didn't like believe. You still had a good time looking for
yeah,
those.
yeah. Kiddo, anything else?
I mean, just the trips that you and I have been on have been pretty fun. Painting with dolphins.
Oh, right,
will
right.
always be in my,
Yeah, I took the kid to, was it 8th birthday, 9th birthday? We
Yeah,
went to
I
Las
think so.
Vegas Easter weekend I had to collect on a
On
Super
your-
Bowl or
yeah,
World Series
Broncos
bet. Well, one of them.
something, yeah.
Yeah. And we hung out. We got to hang out with Siegfried for a bit. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we went, what shows did we see? We did that CSI experience deal.
which was
cool.
which was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the painting with dolphins will
Yeah.
always be
Yeah.
Close to
a
your
story
heart.
I tell.
Oh, God, we got some questions here. So we got one says, do the kiddos practice magic anymore? I don't think you guys did. I mean,
No.
the kiddo did Ren did a couple magic tricks at, for talent shows in elementary school, but I don't think you guys do any. But there is one trick that I taught the kids that, Leah absolutely hates. And it's not
Already
really,
making me mad.
she's already getting frustrated. And, Leah, I'm going to let you tell the story because of all the people that is frustrated, it breaks you the most. So
Forever. I mean, when I was a little kid, it was infuriating, but the most angering part is that it still gets me. But still, it's the thumb trick, also known as the fucking thumb trick, where he just goes like, Leah, like, look at my thumb. I could move it like this.
no,
It's
no,
totally
you're
fine.
yeah. I used to
Well,
be able
you
to
do.
move. Okay,
Oh,
well, no,
you
yeah.
used to be able to
I used
move
to.
it
No,
like
I want you to
this.
do it
have
because
to do it.
you've got a better view of the camera. The camera's got a better view of you.
I used to be able to move my thumb
All over like this. Yep.
but now I can only move my thumb like this.
Well, I slammed it in a car door. I used to be able to move it all over like this, but then I slammed it in a car door, and now I can only move it like this. And then Leah'd say, "But you just moved
But
it."
you just
I said,
did-
"No,
I'm like,
I used to be able to do
be able
this."
to do it. Oh my god. Oh yeah. And as a kid trying to explain it now, whenever you do it, I'm just like, yeah,
Don't encourage him.
Yeah.
really, really glad.
So,
that
kiddo, you
that
did a
happened.
couple tricks routines that you and I came up with at talent shows.
Yeah, one we came up with in a night, because yeah, talent shows have always been were my things for a while. We did
The kid did a rap. The kid
Yeah.
did a who's the rapper? I don't remember.
Blackalicious.
Blackalicious, the alphabet one.
Yeah.
Alphabet rap.
Well, because if you remember, Easy E and I had signed up for guitar. We were gonna play guitar.
Right. And yeah, you signed up for it and you had a week to learn to play the guitar. And
Yeah.
and you didn't even have a guitar.
No.
And your mom and I were like, "Kid, I think you're getting a little bit ambitious here, you know?"
Planning here.
And I don't know how we got onto the topic, but I busted out that rap, and then you were like, "Why don't you do that?"
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I
Um,
just did it.
But yeah, that, and then I think the next two we did magic tricks. I did your prediction box,
But yep. And then the Wrinkle in Time.
and then Wrinkle in
And
Time.
it was fun when the kid auditioned for the one with for the magicians out there. You'll know the kid used the Malloy prediction box, and we you can't do it without an audience, you know.
Yeah.
And you have to have an audience, and you have to have a stage and a backstage to do it. So I went with Ren to the audition, and the kid said, "This is what's going to happen." And one of the teachers who was doing the audition said, "Well, how do we know it's going to work?" And the kid just looks at me, and I said, "It's going to work."
It'll
Right.
work.
And
I'll make sure
it was hard. It was hard convincing these people that I knew what the fuck I was talking about. You know, that I've done this, that I knew this, and it's
This is
gonna
my
work.
thing.
It's gonna work.
Well, I think in my little like description of it, I explained that you were a magician.
Yeah.
Like, you knew what you were doing,
Mhm.
and if you said it was gonna work, obviously it was gonna work.
It's gonna do it.
Right. So if you guys have any more questions, we've got lots of people watching. It's awesome. We go ahead and either post them on Facebook, or if you have my cell phone number, you can text me or call me. I just figured out how to do this, and I'm pretty excited about the
Yeah,
phone calls.
that's
I know
cool.
we're gonna have a couple people have said they're gonna call in, so we'll test to make sure it works. So what else, kiddos? What else is some of the highlights of
I remember doing a magic show. Do you remember we were like up in the mountains?
you went to a
and
magic
with-
camp?
magic camp
Some
with
magicians
Hannah,
from
I think.
yeah,
was her
yep.
name Hannah?
And you guys went to a magic camp and did a show. Yeah.
Yeah, we were the opening act.
Professor Magic,
we
I think
did.
was it? No, who were the guys? Inspector Magic or Detective Magic? I don't remember. A couple guys from Colorado Springs did a magic camp,
Yeah,
and
and it was cool. It was fun, but I don't like being on stage.
yeah, not your thing, not your thing. I think you get that from your mom, and I think kid gets
Uh-huh.
gets it from me. The kid has no problem getting on stage, and
Well, what was it? I went to Rich's magic
yeah,
camp
magic. Yes, he did
Oh,
a magic. Yeah,
yeah.
Rich Nakata did a magic school. Yeah,
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yep. Rich Nakata, one of the few magicians that I will actually go out of my way to watch perform. Rich Nakata is a great magician and a great friend.
Aw.
So yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember. Well, it's not really magic related.
no, it doesn't.
But
No.
walking around, like when I was watching your house, I walked to Coyotes a lot because I, didn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
drive your.
Did
giant
you know that
truck.
those white condos?
That's exactly. And I can never look at those without. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know. We
yeah,
used to walk to Coyotes all the time, and
yeah. We did it every
single time.
Thursday for a couple
Uh-huh,
years. Yeah. And there was white condos there, and every time I'd walk by, I'd say, "Hey, kiddo, do you know that's where I lived when I met your mom?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. There's like, just the little things that I'll remember watching horror movies in the basement. And
I remember going out with your mom a couple of times, and I think we went out 4 or 5 times, maybe 3 or 4. I don't remember. And I finally knew that she was the one I wanted to be with. I knew it, and I said, "Listen, if this is going to go any further, I gotta meet your kid, because if your kid hates my guts, I'm not going to
It's
work,
probably
right?
not gonna work. Yeah.
And the first time I picked her up for our first date, Yoda peed on me. Yoda
That's
was
good sign.
yeah, well, it was a terrible sign. Fuck that dog. This old decrepit dog with it had steel in his legs, and the screws were poking out, and that, oh man, he was 100 years old then.
It's 100
And
years old.
oh,
He's
that
always
means I got
100 years
something.
old. Didn't you guys go to Signs?
Yeah, that was our
That was
first
your
date.
first date?
Yep. All right, so all right, well, this is a good question. I'm wondering what advice Leah and Ren would give to a parent with kiddos in the double digits, as kiddos that have been raised okay and turned out pretty well. What advice would you give parents that are raising kids your age?
Like, while we had rules, there weren't a lot. We had a lot of freedom, and I think that made it easier because
Well, what was the one rule?
break,
I've given you each of you one rule.
don't do
Don't do
anything
anything
stupid.
No, that was the one I gave to
That was
Leah. Was
me.
don't. And what's your other one?
Don't add to the population and don't take away the
Right.
population.
And I think with those two rules, don't do anything stupid,
Yeah.
don't make any life, and don't take any life.
Any
I think
pretty
everything's
good.
pretty
so yeah,
workable.
the
So
rules that
I'm
we
sorry, yeah.
had were good, but then otherwise we had lots of freedom. So then we, didn't do anything too crazy because you were gonna let us do it anyways, and so that was pretty nice.
I
growing
remember
up.
a friend of mine that has a kid your age was talking one time, and they said, my son just lies to me. I know everything he tells me is a lie. And I said, I don't think Leah lies to me. I don't think
to.
Leah lies to me. And he said, well, then I think you're a fool. I think you're mistaken. And I said, no, I think Leah's smart enough to tell me what I need to know. And what I don't need
You
to
don't
know,
need to know
I don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
And so she's smart enough to know that she doesn't need to lie to me, but just keep shit secret. There's just shit I don't need to know,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, kiddo, any advice for a parent of kids your age?
I feel like introduce your kids to what you thought was cool when you were our age.
Okay.
Because I think, and this goes back to even like before, double digits, but I remember listening to, driving around and listening to Saturday Night Safety Dance on First
Saturday
Wave.
Night Safety Dance.
And,
Yes.
the classics and,
We're going to get to the classics.
yeah. And all of the, the stuff that you thought was cool. And I think that opened my eyes to a lot more than I think I would have realized.
Well, and that on that note, I think the last concert I saw before the pandemic was we all went to see Boz Scaggs. And Leah's like, this is Boz Scaggs? I love this. I'm like, oh my God, because it was on our iTunes,
was
and you just
on-
hit
yeah,
random
it was
iTunes, and you're like, oh my God, Boz Scaggs. And then I got to take Ren to see Ghost.
Yeah.
And
cool.
and that was kind of like what church should feel like, right? I mean, that was, really. That's what, I saw something online, and this is one of the things that I think, music was a big part of us, of your guys' life. We had music on all the time, and we exposed you to all sorts of kinds of music. I saw a thing online where a guy said, I loved going to church as a kid. I loved the music. I loved going to church, and I loved the people singing and the audience singing. And he said, then when I was old enough and I went to a concert, I understand this is church, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So, yeah. So the mute. So I want you to tell the story of Werewolves of London,
Yeah.
which
Werewolves
Warren
of
Zevon's one of
London.
my favorites, and we've listened to Warren Zevon in our house since forever.
It's forever. Yeah. And Werewolves of London is my favorite song of all time. But it became my favorite song because I was terrified of werewolves for a long time because of Harry Potter. I was so scared of werewolves, and at night that's what would keep me up. And so then Paul was like, "Well, come here, let me show you a song." And one day, and it immediately got rid of my fear, even though the song is about mutilating little ladies late at night. But it's it totally just erased my fear of werewolves, and it's now my ringtone.
It is the ringtone. I heard that the
Like,
other day. I thought that
yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty awesome. Well, then, kid, I remember
love
one
it.
time you asked, we were driving home, and I think you may have been in a car seat. You may have been little enough to still be in a car seat. And we were getting close to home, and you said, hey, Dad, can we take the long way home? This is my favorite Susie and the Banshees song. And I'm just like, oh my God,
Oh, we
I've
can
succeeded.
gather on
I've
forever.
succeeded.
That was the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We did listen to lots of good music.
yeah, lots of music. And then Leah, we have horror movies. I took you to see horror movies at a fairly early age. I think
We went to a horror, like a
oh right, we
horror
went to the
film
Stanley
festival.
Stanley Hotel Horror Festival with Eli Roth. Right. I remember that. And then what was one of I think maybe was I don't know what was one of the first I don't remember.
horror
It was
movie
yeah,
that
it was
we-
pretty early on.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Mhm.
will always have a special
That's
place
the
in my heart.
greatest horror
It's
movie of all time.
so awesome.
Well, then one afternoon, didn't we go see Green Inferno, Eli Roth's Green Inferno, and then we
Yeah.
came home and watched
Watch
Cannibal
the
Holocaust.
original-
Yeah.
the original
And I think that's what
one.
I mean, so there you go.
Cool.
There's some advice on it, raising kids with double digits. Expose them to Green Inferno and then Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, it helps
So.
you shape your kids. It was cool. Yeah,
So I
love
discovered
horror movies.
recently in a conversation with my mom that I was born a week after my mom and dad saw Jaws in the theater.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, they went and saw Jaws the weekend it opened, and I was born a week later. So maybe that had
It
some
was in your
effect.
blood.
Maybe it had,
Uh-huh.
maybe it
Yeah.
had some effect on me. So kiddo, anything else about like some of the memories or some of the things that have influenced you that you would like to pass on? Like if you had kids, what from your childhood would you pass on? The questions are going to get a little bit more serious here in a second.
Lots of things. Oh man. um, I think traveling was the biggest thing that influenced me.
Yeah.
Meeting your friends, hanging out around the campfire. I mean, it was cool to just drink beer with you.
Well,
You know?
we let Leah drink some beer
Uh-huh.
early on because it was again very self-serving. Because I figured if she drank good beer early
Yeah.
on, she'd get to college and some dude bro would be
Dude
like,
bro.
"Hey, Leah, do you want a beer?" And you'd be like, "Well, what do you have?"
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
uninterested
What-
in your natty light.
I remember one time you were wearing, because every time I go to a brewery, I get you a shirt, and you were wearing a Tank 7 shirt, and I think you texted me, "Hey, tell me about Tank 7." Some cute guy asked me why I like Tank 7, and I don't know, so I need to know about Tank
Yeah.
7.
I'm
So,
wearing my favorite Tommy Knocker.
Oh,
for,
Tommy Knocker, yep.
This is the one.
yep, we got that. I think it was my birthday one year. I think we went
that
up there
up there.
for my birthday. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
And kiddo, you when I was part of a brewery, you'd come and work at the brewery and count barrels and cap bottles. So I guess, I mean, I don't know if that's something to be proud about, but I guess
Well,
alcohol and beer,
alcohol.
yeah, alcohol and beer has been part of our,
Yeah. But it's something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And was
Like
I with
good
you for your
stuff.
first tattoo?
No.
No,
you
okay.
weren't.
It wasn't the first one?
Was, yeah, my second one. We got
Okay.
in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
Yeah,
hopefully
cool.
someday Ren and I can go get tattoos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do fun things with your parents that, you feel safe doing them and they feel like you're safe doing them
Well,
with them.
one
but
of the
then you
things
can
that
do
I've-
crazy, fun, cool stuff.
one of the things that I'm proud of the adults you guys have turned into. I was worried on both of you for a little while. I really was. I really was worried.
I feel
And
you.
and I think I think you guys are turning out to be amazing adults. And I guess that's the goal, right? I mean, I didn't always do everything right. I was angry, when I was frustrated. And I actually talked to your mom about this the other day. And I used to take everything way serious. Hunter Thompson has a quote that says something to the effect of, "My life got so much better once I quit taking it serious." And I remember I would just get so frustrated if we were 5 minutes late. I would get so frustrated, and it would wear on me, and I would blow up, and I would have these moments that looking back, I'm terribly embarrassed. But I in talking to your mom just recently about this, I didn't do it because I was a bad person. I did it, and why I'm embarrassed about it is I did it because I was trying to make everything perfect, And that's the thing is that I tried. Your mom and I tried. We tried a lot, and there were several times that it didn't work, and there's several times that it failed. But I think all in all, we've made two pretty good kids. So I'm proud of where you guys are going, and the fact that Ren wants to be a special ed teacher is my grandma Isla was a special ed teacher, and I don't believe in heaven, but if there is a heaven, there's a special wing for special ed teachers.
Yeah.
So I saw a stand-up comedian this morning, and we'll talk about that later, but it doesn't have anything to do with it. But yeah, so that's I'm pretty proud of there's a lot of things I would have done differently. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, and I'm sure your mother feels the same way. But I am, I guess,
You never know.
all in all, the goal is to raise productive, decent kids.
Decent human beings.
And there are hit my limit on Facebook. I gotta get back on. All right, so my friend Soydan, who's been on the show a couple times, has a couple questions. He says, "I'm really curious to know two things. What is one thing they are proud of me about? And to give context, it could be something you do or an attribute. Secondly, what is one thing they absolutely hate about you? So thanks, Soidan, fucker. They hate my friend Soidan. That's what I'm going to do.
The first one's easy. I think a long time ago, like when you were working at JBS, or maybe it was Farmers Bank, I don't know, Chase Bank, something, you were telling me about how like you don't have to work, but you worked to set an example of like this is, you don't want to be a leech on society or something. You said that you wanted to set a good example for me and then the kid too by working, but I'm proud of you for that, but I'm even more proud of you for getting out of working and doing something that you love and that makes you happy. And I think that's really inspiring
Well,
because you
thank you.
made it work, and like it's working right now, and you have this cool podcast and a bunch of magic shows, and
Yep.
like it's cool.
Well,
It's
thank you.
cool to see you do that.
Thank you. All right, kiddo, the good thing, and then we'll get to the bad thing.
Well, I think that I would just be a broken record with what Leah said. I'm proud of you for setting the example of you don't have, right, like Leah said, you don't have to work, but, and you go on this, you're going on all these trips and you're going on magic shows and meeting all these amazing people and introducing that into our lives. And I'm just proud of who you've become.
Well, thank you. I want to interject real quick with one thing. Back to the what advice would you give? I'm going to give some advice. And I think one of the things that's made my life richer and that I wish I could instill in you guys, and I think you're probably both doing fine, is the reason I am where I am and the reason that I'm as successful as I am, if there's any success in this, is the group of people I've put myself in.
Mm-hmm.
I have the most amazing group of friends.
Yeah.
So that's what I would encourage. I would encourage everyone to I don't want to say have a bunch of friends, because I've got some people in my life that are shitheads.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that aren't
Find your
friends.
people.
But find your people. Find your my friends, and I said this to Paul and Sarah last week, and I've said this to Vic and Zeke and Roth and Kendall and all those guys. They're my family. They in a lot of cases they mean more to me, Soidan specifically. These people mean more to me than most of my family.
Some family.
And so you get to do, what you want with who you want. You don't have to be tied down. So,
Family you make.
all right, now the what is one thing they absolutely, and you can't say the thumb trick because it's already done.
It's already been said. Oh. Something that I just
Kid, you got
hate
something?
that you do.
Fucking dad jokes.
What's your favorite? Is there a favorite?
Maybe not my favorite, but the don't change.
Oh, that's
It started as, hey, I'm gonna go change. Don't change.
I'm gonna go change my clothes. Dad, don't change. I love you just the way you are.
And then it's just now anything. I'm going to school. Don't change.
Oh man, that was awesome. Oh, I can't even say that I hate this about you, but because it was pretty funny, but it did annoy me a lot. Like when you'd go and take a shit, you're like, "Well, it smells like cinnamon cookies." And then when I was younger, I used to be like,
So-
"No, it totally does not."
What if
but now,
One of my favorite, Leah used to come into the bathroom that her mom and I shared and do her hair. And it was the only bathroom I would use. And it was in high school or junior high. And you'd come in and do all your makeup and stuff in our bathroom. And you had your own bathroom. You had your own full bathroom that was
your
yours.
bathroom was way bigger and way.
And so I'm like, kid, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to get out of here. And you wouldn't leave. So I just dropped pants and sat on the toilet. And the kid
Popped the squat.
flipped out. It's like, oh my God, I can't. I'm like, get the fuck out of the bathroom.
This is my bathroom.
Yeah, this is I bought this big house, and you could use any other bathroom except for this one.
Yeah, you had 2 other bathrooms. I liked your bathroom better.
Right?
I don't know.
That's so do I.
Uh-huh.
So another question is, what would you want our big next adventure to be? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, I think the
Good one.
lives now have kind of gone different directions, and you're not here, so
Yeah,
so I don't know
can't
that
just
there'll be a big,
jet away.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Sometime we'll go off
Yeah.
and do something.
Yeah, it might just be meeting somewhere. I'm
Uh-huh.
lucky enough. I've been on 40 airplanes this year, and I've got to go see people and hang out and meet up with people. So maybe one of these days our paths will cross in one of those areas. And then Kid and I have talked about a couple trips. I think next year we're going to try to fly somewhere and see ghosts somewhere else other than Denver.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
That's cool.
you know, I'm a firm believer in the Anthony Bourdain travel philosophy. You know,
Yeah.
it makes you richer. It makes you way better. So you've been, Leah, you've
Yeah.
been tons of places. I mean, you've been to
Mhm.
Japan, you've been to Australia, you've been to Europe. You know, and not because of me. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
not.
Not specifically because of you, but
Well,
I've been to a bunch of places because of you. Um, yeah, and we don't have to go anywhere even
right,
for it to
right,
be an adventure.
right.
I'm
Well,
trying to
right. It
think
is
of
kind of an adventure all the time.
yeah, yeah, it's an adventure to just go and see a
Yeah,
movie with
right.
you or do something.
Oh,
That's
they
a good
the
question.
I always, when the kids would go to movies when they were little, I would say, make sure you tell me what the trailers are.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because that's all I care about is what movies are coming
We
out.
had to get there early to see the trailers. It
Yeah,
was a
and
very
then I
important
know
part.
your mother would probably say this. One of the most annoying things about watching a movie with me is after a trailer that looked like shit, I'd always say, "Oh, that was good," and I'd rate the trailers, or I'd say, "Well, that person was in this
Yeah.
movie, and this
I was
person was
gonna
in that
say
movie."
that was a good one. And
Yeah.
annoying. Nah, I liked it
Yeah,
to an extent,
yeah,
but you just knew lots of people, and
yeah.
you would have your computer whenever we'd watch a movie, and you'd have to look up a person if you like couldn't figure out who they were or what else they were in. Like, oh, okay.
Let's see if I got any other questions coming. We don't. And again, if anybody wants to
Mhm.
call, they can just call in anytime. There's not a specific time to call in. If I can't get it, I won't. But if you've got the number, call in. So I'll let you guys go with some of the stuff you want to talk about. We'll get back to some of my stuff. But what are
Yeah.
some of the things you guys wanted to talk about?
Some questions
Yeah.
for you.
Oh, you got some questions for me. Now let me
So-
preface this by saying, in the near future, we've talked about a couple friends. I'm going to flip sides, and somebody's going to sit in this chair, and I'm going to sit over there, and so the whole episode's going to be about me coming up. So don't.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let's see if this.
Is it a call?
All right, who's here?
Zeke
Oh my
Powers.
Zeke Powers, everybody, the one and only Zeke Powers.
Hi, Zeke.
Hey, buddy.
It's great to see you guys, and what a marvel of technology that's going on right now. So what I want the girls to answer this, and I want you to tell me. In Magic, we'd like to do a confabulation, and it's like a fantasy vacation. So if you could imagine the perfect experience for your dad, the Knopf, as we call him in the streets. If you could name the meal that he would eat at the location that he would be at, and what horror flick would he be watching while he's eating this meal? I want you girls to give me a psychological experience of what really he's about. If you could pick anything.
All right, I'm going to
What
step
would
away.
that be?
I've got to charge my computer. It's down, so I'm going to step away and let the girls talk. So bear with me
Yeah.
just a
All right.
second.
And
We can come up with, what
and-
did you call it? A confabulation?
yes. It's when we have this great, at the end of this show, sometimes there's this final reveal, and it's usually a vacation. Most magicians do the same. It's a fantasy vacation where they spent so much money and they drank some kind of cocktail or something like that. So that's
Okay.
kind of boring. So it was interesting hearing rating system, and it makes me question my own. I have a rating system for movies with a number of skulls, but I've never thought about rating. And the Pizza Hut thing is genius. That's terrific. So I'm in a marvel with you guys, and I just wonder, well, burritos definitely, and I ate a Denver omelet in Denver with Paul, but I'm not familiar with his taste in food or his palate, and he's been to a bunch of weird, funky places, but I always imagine that some people are always associated with a certain location, and maybe it's the toilet in that bathroom they like so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, so you guys talked about watching scary movies together, and I'd love to hear what you guys think would be the scary movie that he would be watching.
Wow.
And then, of course, we want to hear what his answers are if he
Uh-huh.
agrees with your guys' analysis.
So let me interrupt real quick. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but my computer has dropped from 100 to 31%
Oh.
since we've been on the air. So we may have
It's,
to.
when ghosts are near, they
That's
tend to
right,
drain
that's right.
batteries. So
We
I'm
may-
going to I'm going to hang off. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to take the answer off the air. Long-time listener, first-time caller, huge fan.
Well, Zeke Powers is the first.
To everybody.
Zeke Powers is
America's
the first
favorite paranormal magician.
And Zeke is the first. You're the first caller on the show. So congratulations, you win a T-shirt and a sticker. How's that sound?
Holy smokes!
But Zeke, I mentioned earlier. I mentioned earlier, and I'll say this to you while you're on the phone, that my life is so much richer for the people I have in it. And you are absolutely one of them. You are one of my favorite people in the world. I love you, buddy.
You're the best, and I love you, Paul, and your whole family, and this whole mystery collection thing. Although it's a bit suspicious, I love it, and I love you, dude. You're
all right, we'll talk soon. See you, buddy. All right, Zeke Powers, everybody. So you answer the question. I missed a bunch of it. So
I would say, food-wise, do you think some cheese dip, some queso, some smoked wings? Really liked Paul makes really good smoked wings.
what about the nachos?
The nachos.
Do you remember the nachos?
Yes, he does make, like, he crafts the nachos individual, like, builds them up on the tortilla chips. So, like, the beans and then the guac and cheese and meat and stuff. So you get all the good stuff on every single chip that you have. And that, yeah. I think some Tex-Mex food, some nachos, really good nachos, queso, smoked wings, barbecue in general. What else?
Like a burrito.
Food-wise, yeah, Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some peach pie or something like that. Got those ones. But I was also thinking about the movie, and while we love, like, scary horror movies, I think
kiddo,
we'd be watching, like, Ouija Shark.
Mhm.
Right.
Something.
So that is the alcoholic Mountain Dew. I picked that up in some butthole Texas town. I've not seen it, so I figured we'd drink.
Tastes like Mountain Dew.
Kiddo, you want to try it? You got to go to work, so just take
Zero sugar.
zero sugar. Yeah, it's not very good.
No.
Okay, it's yours. It's not very good. I don't like it. It does not taste like Mountain Dew. It tastes like
Tastes like a salt.
yeah.
Sweet salt.
So all right, so go ahead with Zeke's question.
The location is the one that I'm having a hard time pinpointing. It would not be in Greeley.
Yeah.
But you've been all over. So I think we'd be watching a really cheesy Ouija Shark movie.
Which they're making another one. Kiddo's
Yes.
been messaging with the
I
director.
am best friends with the director on Twitter. And yes, there is one in the works.
Yep.
That's awesome. But yeah, where would he? Where would we be watching this? Eating the delicious.
Oh, hold on. We got another call. We'll get back to this. Let's see if we can figure this out too.
Yeah, let's think about it.
All right, caller, you're in. Who is this?
This is Bishop Aaron James Haven.
Aaron Havens of Chicken Cone fame.
I just wanted the ability to say I was a second caller because you beat me out on the first caller. So,
Well, and Zeke Powers has been mentioned in every single episode that I've ever done. We had when I was doing the early ones where we just get shit faced. The game was every time Zeke Powers' name was mentioned, we had to take a drink. I think my friend Chris, the Big Icky in Michigan, came up with that rule that every time we mention Zeke. So, hey, Aaron, how's it going, buddy?
Zeke,
Hi,
that's
Aaron.
great. I'm number 2. I'm back up to Zeke, and that is great. I do have a question,
Uh-oh.
and I'm going to change my question. Here's my question: why would I vote for Paul for president?
I wouldn't vote for Paul for president.
Leah and Rin, I want to know that question.
I would vote for. I
The
would.
next president.
Everything would change. I would vote for Paul for sure because everything would be different.
Because I'd have Sabbath write a new
A
new national anthem. Yeah.
I was gonna say the national anthem would be super awesome. Oh my gosh, all the laws there'd be. Well, this might be too political for this.
No,
podcast,
get away.
But
Get away.
I mean, no more guns.
Yep.
Everyone, all pro-choice. Like everyone would be able to do whatever they wanted with their body. So there's like some real. I think Paul and I share probably all the same.
So I was watching this
views.
documentary on the Satanic Temple one night, and Leah sat down, and she didn't know what it was about, and she said, "What is this?" And we're watching. They're going over their political stands, and they're going over their morality stands. And Leah says, "I agree with all this." And I said, "Well, Leah, this is a documentary about the Satanic Temple, and I think you said, well, maybe I'm a Satanist. You know?
Part of the Satanic Temple. Like,
Right.
I agree with everything that they
All right, kiddo.
believe.
Well, he's just a cool dude.
The press
Cool
briefings would
dude.
be kind of fun
It would be awesome.
because they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this
I'm
guy." Fuck.
absolutely waiting for the shirt. I will buy that shirt right now.
well, I got a couple other shirts coming out sooner, but maybe we'll have one. So, Aaron, are you? So, if I announce my candidacy for president of the United States, will you be my running mate?
Uh,
Yeah, you noticed that wasn't a quick. There wasn't a quick yes on that one. So, all right, buddy. Again, as I told Zeke, you're one of my favorite people. I love you, man, and you make my life so much better.
Lots of love, guys. Have fun. I'm enjoying it.
Talk soon. See you, buddy.
Iron. I like that question too. Yeah, you're right. The debates would be awesome.
Yeah.
It would be so
Well,
cool.
you know, there was a time that your mom and I talked about me running for city council.
Uh-huh.
And I thought about it, and I filed the paperwork, and I thought about it, and then it dawned on me that I just don't give a shit enough. You know, I think this town sucks, and my goal is to not be here. I think it's one of the most backwards towns, and you know, every time you go out, whether you go to a bar or a restaurant, it just seems like it's a continuation of a Chamber of Commerce event. It's the same fucking people that talk about the same things, and it's not what I want. It's not what I want.
Like with Zeke's question, anywhere
Yeah.
but Greeley.
Yeah. I, you know, being out on the road for the last 3 weeks has really kind of made me decide that I think my time in Greeley, and this is maybe a conversation for another time, my time in Greeley is probably pretty limited.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably pretty limited. So I don't know where I'll go, but I had a plan to go to New Orleans, but that didn't fall through. So, all right. So we're going to, this is really driving me crazy, but we're now at 25%. So I don't know why the battery's running so low so quickly, but we'll have to figure it out. And so we may have to wrap up and then pop back on later or some other day. But so let's get back to some of the things you guys wanted to talk about. Most of my stuff was kind of trivial, or we kind of touched on it. Anything else you want to specifically talk about, Ren?
Well, I was going to go back to your rules. I think you had one more, and it was you are never allowed to flip anyone else off except the protesters outside of Planned Parenthood.
Yep. When the kid was very little, I taught her what the middle finger meant. And every time we drive past Planned Parenthood and they'd have old, rich white people standing out front saying how important it is to outlaw abortion, I'd say, let them have it, kid.
Yep, you can do it. Free reign.
Yep, free reign. Free reign.
Still do it.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
yeah.
we still do it to this day. Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, yeah.
I think you'd be a great president. You'd shoot, not my monkeys, not
Well,
my circus.
Yeah,
There
not
we
my
go.
monkeys, not my circus. That's a quote that
So, trying to.
yeah, your life gets way better when you operate under that. So
Yeah, it's cool. I have lots of stuff on my thing, but it's
we'll just
all
start spitting
random
some
stuff.
topics out, and we'll go while we've got
Like, do
battery.
you remember what you do with your boogers? We were on the trampoline in the backyard, and I can just so clearly picture it. So I think you asked me the question, like, when you pick your nose, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't
like,
remember
write
this.
out something, and then it's like, well, what do you do with your boogers? You flick them across rooftops.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that, but yeah, that's
I was thinking while I was trying to come up with stuff to talk about, I was like, oh my
that's
gosh,
funny.
I
I don't
wonder
remember that.
I
I
can
don't remember
picture the whole scene in
Yep.
my head.
I remember
was
that
wondering
trampoline.
if
That was a
you-
lot of fun.
Yeah. Wondering if you remember what you did with your boogers. All the good stuff.
Kiddo, you got anything on there that you want to? I don't want to hurry you, but we
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're gonna try to figure. I don't know what's going on, and it's frustrating, but I can't.
Do
Apparently,
you
it's
have
not.
another power? Like, is there one on the other side?
No, there's not,
Oh.
and so the adapter takes up both
Oh.
of the.
Is it charging at all?
No, and I've got it plugged in and it's not charging, and I don't know we'll have to get this.
Strange.
I hope I don't
That's
need
weird.
another computer.
Yeah.
But-
Sec. Do you know what Snow-Capped Mountains is a reference to?
Snow-capped mountains? No.
You get like a giant zit every once in a while. Do you don't remember?
No.
It was so
This is a
awesome.
Paul thing?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know. There's some things just stick out in my mind, but
Yeah.
it was so funny because you were so frustrated with this giant zit that you couldn't get rid of. You're like, it's just like a fucking snow-capped mountain on my
Yeah.
face. And so now whenever I get zits, I'm like,
Well, something else they brought
snow-capped
up while we were talking. We didn't talk about this on the, but the kid's mom sent me a message of some things that she remembers to bring
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah.
And one of them is for a while, we did like Blue Apron or Hello Chef
That
or
was
whatever
Bread.
those
I
things
think
are. Yeah.
Blue Apron.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll let you guys tell the story. If you don't know what that is, you just get all the raw materials and you have to cook your own dinner.
Uh-huh. Yeah, all the
And
food is sent to your house.
When
Big
they
ol' box.
say raw materials, it's truly raw materials. They would send us full corn, like full corn cobs, and we'd have to shuck them. And we would
Like
all get so
pioneers.
annoyed. And so it just became like,
Well, I think somebody said, "What are you doing?" And I
Or was like, yeah, you were doing something and it was awesome, and you're like, that's like a fucking pioneer.
yeah, cooking like a fucking pioneer, shucking my own corn in 2020. Are you kidding me?
Feeling your own care.
All right, so we've got a question from our friend Carrie who says, "I wanted to ask, what is the weirdest thing that your dad has in his collection? What is your favorite thing that I have in the collection?"
I love your elongated skull,
Yeah.
your alien skull. That's awesome.
mhm.
The weirdest thing. You have so much stuff. I'm looking
I
at
know.
the Zoltar machine. You got.
Because one of these days, this shit's gonna be all yours. So you do get to deal with it.
I freaked Ryan out because when we were staying down here in the basement, you have the crying boy picture.
Yeah, right above the
over
bed, yeah.
and he was like, "What the hell is up with this?" And I'm like, "Well, listen really closely, Ryan. In the middle of the night, if you hear crying," he was like, "You gotta be."
So kiddo,
Yeah.
what is
I don't know if it's the weirdest, but I think it's the coolest is all your grave dirt.
the grave dirt
I
collection?
remember
Yeah.
going out with you to Lynn Grove.
Yep, and collecting some grave dirt. Yeah, the
Grave
grave dirt
rubbing.
collection got pretty crazy this year. Hanging out with when I went and visited my friends Calvin and Jules, we got a bunch. And then on this recent trip, I stopped in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and picked some grave dirt up of Sam Kinison, the stand-up comedian who was one of my heroes growing up. So yeah, the grave dirt collection. I've got a couple. I've got several that I've targeted that I think in 2023 I'm going to go visit specific graves. So
Yeah, that would be a fun adventure someday. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll are doing our own thing, but
Yeah.
it would be fun to do a road trip to a bunch of cool old cemeteries and track down.
Or just
people.
find like cool, because there was that one cemetery, was it in Breckenridge or Estes?
up in Breckenridge while we were waiting to go to dinner, our reservation.
That
Yeah.
was like in the backwoods, like just like super back there. And there were so many fun, like, not fun, but like very interesting graves, like headstones and all the things.
Yeah. That is kind of weird. Our family, I'm sure lots of families like going and checking out
Oh, yeah,
cemeteries,
yeah.
but yeah, it's one of our hobbies.
Well, when your mother and I went to Scotland and Ireland, we drove and we stopped at lots of cemeteries just to walk through, and you realize they're people and they all had families and they all had stories, and
Right. It's cool.
they're not So
Not just headstones.
well, I'm guessing we got
Okay.
probably 15 or 20 minutes before this goes. So we got some
Okay.
other things. So I'll bring up some of the things that I had to
Easy.
hear.
Mhm. Yes, lots of weird stuff.
So one of my favorite memories is we've always had dogs. We always had dogs until your mom and I split. Now I don't have dogs. If you guys still have dogs, and I was dead set on not getting another dog. We had two boxers. We had Yoda and Baba Booey,
Yep.
and Yoda passed away at the age of 590. And we had actually had the appointment. If you remember, we'd had the appointment to put Yoey down, and he died the day before
Yeah.
on his own.
Yeah.
Bowie was. Then we got Mo, and Mo was kind of my fault. My brother's neighbor had black lab German shepherds, and Mo ended up being probably the best dog I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But then when we put Bowie down, I made the proclamation: no more dogs. We're gonna let Moe ride it out, and then when Mo, let me tell the story when we put we put Baba Booey down.
Yeah, I like
We had the appointment, and his legs were failing, his back was failing, and your mom couldn't do it. So I went to the gym that morning, came home, and made the appointment, and took him. And as I'm pulling into the driveway, your mom's backing out, and she's just in tears. And I knew why. It was a tough day. And so I took Bowie to McDonald's on the way to the vet, and sat in the back of my car and had a double cheeseburger and an ice cream cone with him, and took him in and had him put down. And then I got home and nobody talked that night. It was real quiet at dinner. I don't know if you guys remember this. And I finally said, okay, we got to talk about this. And I said, I just want you to know I took Bowie to McDonald's and had double cheeseburger and an ice cream cone right before he was put down. So he had a good last meal. Your mom just starts crying and she said, I made him steak and eggs for breakfast. So I said, no more dogs. I said, we'll get rid of, we'll let Moe ride it out. And then we'll spend our life traveling. We won't have to rely on people to watch dogs. And you three all had an app for rescue dogs on your phones. And we're having dinner one night and all three phones chirped at the same time. And I said, fuck, I'm done. And I said, no more dogs. I said, no more dogs. So we had a family meeting about it, and we compromised and got another dog.
Another dog.
And if you remember, do you remember the day that we went and looked at the dog? Do you remember? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let you guys tell the story.
Oh my gosh. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Sandy,
Sandy. And what was it, Littleton?
Longmont.
Longmont? It was at a rescue event in Longmont, and we had her on hold until like 11. And when we got there, there were people who were willing to wait until 11. We got there probably, I don't know, 9. And there were people there willing to wait until 11 to take this dog because she was the only one not barking.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful dog,
She's-
yeah,
a
she's
black lab
beautiful.
pointer. Yeah.
And
Like we got to see her and we
Yeah,
got to like
we were
play
s-
with her and take her out, and then you said the meanest thing
oh
ever.
my god,
We were like,
We were s-
okay, well, we saw her. Let's go home and think about it. And we were all like,
I think we all wanted to.
Well, I knew
Yeah.
we weren't going home without that fucking dog. I knew it.
once you see the puppy, you have to get, you're getting the puppy. But yeah, it was a
We
close
all
one.
wanted. We knew that it was either the dog was coming home with us, or you.
Or
were
I was not coming. Yeah. Well, the dog was coming home regardless. It just meant if I was coming home or not. So yeah,
Yeah, you're
that's
like,
a
okay.
fun one. Well, we got a few minutes. It's dwindling down, and what we'll do is we'll
Really?
charge this back up and maybe do this again. Maybe just hop on tomorrow night or something. Do you work tomorrow night, kiddo?
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
maybe we'll just hop back on tomorrow night and finish the list. But
Go
I'm
on.
not quite sure
Uh-huh.
why this is, but it's very frustrating, and I'll get to the bottom of it. So anything else here? I just want to tell you guys, one of the things I want to tell you guys is that, I'm not, your mom and I were together for over 15 years, and I think we did a great job, with you guys. And I think that separate, I think we're also doing a great job. And I think that, I'm not happy the way things went down, and it's nothing that that either one of us really thought about, and it just happened. But I just want you guys to know that through the whole thing, you guys have been really strong, and I appreciate how you guys handled it, and it wasn't good for anybody, and it wasn't a happy time, but I know your mom's happy, and I'm moving on, and we're doing okay, and I still care a great deal about your mom. And I want nothing but happiness for her and that kind of stuff. So you guys are a big part of that. And I'm glad that you guys handled it, and we're very helpful to both of us during that time. So
It was hard, but I mean, I've had people ask me like, so your mom and your stepdad aren't married, so he's kind of not your stepdad,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, forever,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, that would never cross my mind.
I appreciate
We'll
that.
always be family, no matter what.
So, well, and so let me see where we are. 15%. So we got some. I'm gonna go until
That's
I'm gonna go until it
crazy.
writes. Yeah, I don't know.
That is so insane. You checked everything out before this and
Yeah,
got it all
yeah. Well, it was
prepped and
100. It was
ready, and
100% when I plugged it in, and so I got to figure out what's going on. I don't know if I have
Something's
too much stuff.
draining it.
If I have too much stuff plugged into it, I mean, I have both cameras, and I have, but I've done this show before, and I don't know what's
yeah.
I don't know what's different. I don't know what's different. So, but I'll figure it out.
I don't know.
And it might mean I need a new. I don't know if the battery. I don't know. We'll see. So, but yeah. So we will part ways here in a little bit on this, but then we will come back to it. And let me see if I got any other questions. Anybody out there got any questions? One of the fun things I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this is something a friend brought up. Yeah, Carrie says it's being drained by some graveyard dirt. I've dated some pretty amazing women in the last couple of years, and I've also dated some pretty terrible women in the last couple of years. And you guys have met very few. I've kept it very, very.
Okay, only met one.
Yeah, and I think Ren, you met two. I think three. And unfortunately, for one reason or not, they didn't work out. But I guess I wanted to ask you, and this is a question a friend asked me. What do you want for your old man? What kind of a woman is out there for your old man?
I think you need a little bit of crazy in your life, like a little more crazy. You know, the
More
different
crazy?
kind of crazy.
Well,
you know?
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you need it. It keeps you going. But definitely someone who likes to travel as much as you do and is like excited to drop everything if they can. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that's hard.
It's
but
yeah. No, I have an
for
extraordinary.
anyone.
I say it all. I have an
But-
extraordinary life, and I don't expect
but
everybody
yeah,
to.
someone that will go on long road trip adventures with you, and yeah, someone who likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Someone who's adventurous and matches your crazy.
Matches my crazy.
Well, this is a crazy thing,
Yeah.
a common theme. Yeah. I also really want you to have someone who's pretty hot.
Yeah, well, thanks. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, like, that's
So
for
be on,
you.
be on the
You
lookout.
specifically.
Be on the
yeah.
lookout for that. That's
Just, someone who likes to go get tattoos, someone who's spontaneous and not scared to.
well. There have
just
been
get some-
two. There have been a couple that I've dated and that I really thought there was a future. I really thought, and they both kind of ended abruptly and
Mhm.
it, so it's just one of those
Yeah.
things where it just it's different. Had I known it was going to be this difficult, I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was going to be this difficult. It's a mess. And in my show, I tell several jokes about online dating. And the new one, I don't know if I told you the new one. Obviously not true, but I said this last week in Little Rock. I said I'm on several dating apps, and my friend Paul and I went to this bar called the Four Quarter. And this woman came up to me. She said, "Hey, I recognize you from Tinder." And I said, "Oh, well, thank you." It wasn't enough to reject me anonymously.
Yep. Oh,
So,
yeah, you told that
yeah.
one. Ryan's cracking up at your
Yeah.
jokes. Both of the jokes.
Yeah, the other
you
two we'll say for another day. Those are kind
Yeah,
of those are kind
little,
of for live in person jokes.
yeah.
Yeah. But I really thought that I really thought, that something was going to come out of one of those. But
Uh-huh. I liked the one that I met.
yep, so did I.
Yeah. She was cool. It does suck. Dating's hard.
Yeah, no.
But-
And so some of we didn't say the nickname for your boyfriend. We'll close with that.
Yeah.
Some of Leah's boyfriends have been there's Trevor
Uh-huh.
and that was
T-Rev.
and I called him T-Rev, and that stuck. That's what other people
Yeah,
call him
that's
now,
what
right?
we all
Yeah.
call him.
And then there was another Ryan, and was it Jake Ryan or
Jake
Rhino?
Ryan.
And
Yeah,
because he
Jake
was the
Ryan.
least Jake Ryan-ish person. And if you know who Jake Ryan is, watch 16 Candles. And then my favorite was Tony, and God bless Tony. He was such a nice kid. And
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with one, and Tony Baloney was too obvious, and Tony the Tiger was too obvious. So I came up with Tony. And oh my God, I was so proud of that. And then
Yeah.
Kid, I think you turned it into T3.
Yeah, T3.
Yeah,
Tony,
and that was a
Tony,
good
Tony.
one. And so the debut of Leah's new boyfriend's Ryan, his nickname, and you'll have to see him to make sense. He looks very, very similar to
Really
the host of the show, Adam Ruins Everything. So I am now Ryan. If you're out there, you are now Ryan Ruins Everything. And so I'm saying that up front so that so you don't fuck
Yeah.
things up. So if you've already ruined everything, that means everything's smooth sailing from the beginning. But I said that yesterday at lunch and with Leah and my friend Susan. I said he looks like the guy from Adam Ruins Everything. I'm like, Ryan Ruins Everything, and Leah's like, oh no. So Carrie says we all love Adam Ruins Everything. And you know what? I've only watched one, and it was the one where the psychics with because my friend Mark Edward was on it, and he ruined psychics, which is you have to check it out. And
That's fun.
yeah. So all right, so as much as this pains me, we're at 8%, and I am sorry that we cut it off. I had a whole list of things I know you guys did, but we'll try to come back on this week after I get this figured out. I don't know why it's worked. Okay, so the G word. Carrie says watch the G word with him. Okay. I'll have to. I don't know what the G word is. We'll have to
can check
watch
it
it.
out.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
I'd like to see it.
So, all right, I got a couple seconds left. We're gonna go until it went up to 9, so it is maybe taking a charge.
Your computer
I'm not gonna
weird.
stretch it out, but if anybody has any questions, now's the time. But we are gonna come back on with this and then have a part 2. Hopefully this week we'll work it out because there's some things on my list I did not get to, but we may be going It's on Netflix. Is it a movie, Carrie, or is it I'll look at it. She said it's on Netflix. So,
Perfect.
so if anybody has any questions or anything, now's the time. Let's chirp in. Again, so in 2 weeks, having G and Chris from the Best of Five podcast come on. They're kind of the ones that got this started. I was on their episode, on their show, and they kind of helped me set this up. And then I think maybe after that, in the next one, I think maybe I'll have one of my friends. Oh, it's a mini series. She said, okay. I'll have one of my friends sit on the other side and interview me. I know I tell a lot of stories, but I've had some friends say that they wanted to sit on the other side and talk to me. So another time I thought about, and I've got a lead on, as I've mentioned this a couple of times, and now that I figured out the phone, it's going to be way easier. I think after the first of the year, I'm going to have a high-end escort call in and answer all the questions about being a real, like, high-end escort sex worker. I think that would be amazing. I've got a couple calls into police officers, and if you guys have any, and a woman contacted me from Oregon last night who is eccentric, I can say. I don't know a whole lot about her other than she's very eccentric and very friendly. And I did not get a chance to meet her when I was out in doing a show in Eugene a couple months ago, but we did try to connect. She has like an esoteric school and tarot shop. I won't say the name yet until I get all the details. But she's going to run for president in 2024, and I think that'll be a fun conversation.
She'll be your main opposition.
Well, yeah. Trust me. I the last thing. First of all, I don't want to disclose my finances, so I'm not going to run for president. And I'd have a lot of explaining to do.
Yep.
I'd have a lot of explaining to do.
Everyone would have more questions.
Yeah, and and really, do you want to be fucking president? No, not at all. Do you want to be president?
Never.
President's for people that have huge egos. And it's different now than it was back in the day. But I think back in the day, maybe the death of the American dream is, as Hunter Thompson puts it, came with Nixon. I think before then, I think there was honor in being president. And now it's which companies can you help and whatever for a different time. So, well, I just want to close it with in case we don't get a chance to come back on. I love you guys. You guys are two of the most important people in my life. And there's nothing from when I was a little kid, there's nothing I wanted more than to be a dad.
Oh, well, I love
So,
you too.
so you guys helped me accomplish the most,
Love you.
the thing that I'd like to think I was successful. There was a lot of things that I know I failed
It's
on,
been awesome.
and a lot of things that I had to work on that I would redo. But you guys have turned out to be great adults, and I hope that someday you're sitting on an old rocking chair with all your old grandkids running around, and you say, "Man, you should have met my dad."
Yep.
So that's it. So guys, thank you for calling. I'm so sorry that we had to cut this short. We got an hour and 10 minutes, which is crazy because I've gone 3 on this battery and I don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out and hopefully get back on this week. I'm not going to post this until we get part 2 and we'll just combine them. So it'll be on Facebook Live for forever, and then I'll put it on the podcast networks, and I'll put it on the YouTube channel. But check out the Mystery Collection Conversations on Mystery Collection on Facebook, and the Instagrams, and the Facebooks, and the Instagrams,
FaceTube.
the FaceTube, the YouTubes, the YouTubers, the U faces. So parting words. You guys got a few seconds. So what are your I always ask, what are your parting words for the world? What is something that you have to say? It could be something as silly as Wu-Tang is for the children, or it could be something deep and profound.
Don't do anything stupid.
Don't do anything stupid.
Fuck Kanye West.
Fuck Kanye West. Thanks, kiddo. Yeah. Thank you. This. I am now a success as a father. I am now a success. If you troll through my Facebook, my kid made a meme for me last summer, and it was a picture of a piece of shit, dog shit on a carpet, and somebody's holding a microphone to it. And I said, "Kid, do you know how to make memes?" And the kid's like, "Yeah, I'm not dumb." And so it says, "Behind the scenes at Kanye West recording studio." And I was, so proud. So proud. Awesome. Yep. Good. Fuck Kanye West. So, all right, guys, we're gonna come back after I figure out this battery thing. But thank you guys. And I really am the luckiest kid in the world that I get to do this. So yeah. I love you guys all. Take care. Be safe.